This is a much needed video, guys. As a lot of you guys may or may not know, I do coach athletes, physique athletes, just overall in terms of fitness, helping people reach their goals. Mainly weight loss, but I do off-season coaching, I do competition coaching, things like that. But most of it's just regular weight loss plans. And there's so many trainers out there, so many fitness gurus that claim they're coaches that have no idea what they're talking about. No credentials or anything. I'm not saying you necessarily need a degree in nutrition like I have, but some of these people, I don't understand why they're coaching, how they're coaching, if their clients actually believe them, and if so, I am so sorry because they're in bad hands. And everybody has their own kind of approach to dieting and losing weight, and that's the interesting thing is there's no one way to do things. There's 10 ways to skin a cat. I think that's the phrase, or there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, which is true. But I've seen way too many times people doing it the inefficient way, and the way that's not, I shouldn't say not optimal, but it's not sustainable. And crash dieting and crash cardioing is not the way to do it. What I've learned from my coaches at 3D Muscle Journey, I implement the same things that they taught me with my clients. That's to take a slow, deliberate approach to cut, and that's going to be the most sustainable. First of all, that's the most important thing, is if it's not sustainable, then what's the point in doing it? Because you're going to cut down to 7% body fat, then you're going to binge, you're going to get fat, you're going to get depressed, and then it's just a vicious cycle. And I've been there, and it's not good. I gained 42 pounds after a show in like 3.5 to 4 weeks. Developed an eating disorder, and from time to time it comes back, but I don't really have lapses anymore. And the thing is because I have to incorporate it into my lifestyle. And the minute you come to grips with, if you binge eat and you eat a bunch of sugary shit, you have 2 minutes of happiness, and then guess what? It goes away, and then you're back to where you were beforehand. So if you just don't eat, then it's just going to go away. So that's really the bottom line there. But the thing is, with the way I diet, that was the main idea of this kind of rant, if you want to call it that. I preach sustainability, first of all. Sustainability, as well as just doing the right thing and taking your time, being slow and deliberate, and just eating as many whole foods and micronutrient-dense foods as possible. I'm not saying you have to do chicken, rice, and broccoli. If you want skinny cow ice cream and you can fit it in your carbs for the day, then go ahead. But the thing is, make sure you're hitting your fiber. Make sure everything's in check in terms of calories, macros, and everything like that. But if you are dropping 5 pounds per week, there's something wrong there. And eventually, your body's going to catch up. Your body adapts really, really well to stimulus. So, for example, when I first started dieting, I was on 65 grams of fat. What was I? 325 carb, 225 pro. When I started actually dieting for my bodybuilding show, I dropped it down 60 fat, 300 carb, 225 protein. Right? One 400 calorie cardio session per week. That's what I did. I did that for 3 weeks, and then I began to prep with 3DMJ. So we actually began my official contest prep. So my macros remain the same, 60, 300, 225, and then we increased cardio to 1,600 calories per week for 400 calorie sessions. So we increased cardio by 1,200 calories. And guess what? After 5 weeks, it flatlined. We had to make a new adjustment. So we cut fat to 50, carbs to 275, and protein 225 again. Still. Same with the refeeds. Refeeds dropped just the fat. Carbs remained at 400. Protein remained at 225. So those are the adjustments that I made. And so far this week, I'm dropping weight like crazy. But your body adapts, and it's so good at that. Look at the starvation studies, the Minnesota starvation studies. I mean, that wouldn't pass an ethics board, nowadays. So it's really hard to get, more modern research done in terms of metabolism, but they don't really care about dieting in healthy young bodybuilders. That's not where funding goes. It goes to things like cancer and AIDS. So, be that as it may, you have to keep in mind the body adapts. So, by just crash cardioing and crash dieting, your body adapts to that. And guess what? What happens when you're on 1,000 calories a day and you're doing, 2 hours of cardio a day? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Eat less? How much could you possibly eat less? There comes a point where you really can't lower food anymore, You're eating only celery, and that's consuming all your carbs, and then you're eating, liquid egg whites, and you're having protein shakes, and that's all you're eating throughout the day. There's only so much more you could do. You have to invest in your metabolism, and I believe there's truth to that, building your metabolic rate in the off season, just slowly adding in calories. Yeah, it's hard. It's easy to get sloppy in the off season. I've done it before, but this past prep, before this prep started, actually, I worked with Jeff Alberts from 3DMJ in the off season, and I could tell you right now, it was my most successful off season in terms of strength, in terms of mass, in terms of just keeping my body fat low. Normally I blow right up, and I think the highest I got like one weigh-in of like 221, and then when I began contest prep, I was 217, and here I am sitting at 203 right now. Goal weight being around 180, 185. So there's a million ways to skin a cat, but to be honest, take a slow, controlled approach. Losing 0.5 to 1.5% of your body weight per week. Obviously, the further along you get in a contest prep or extended fat loss phase, you want to reach kind of for the lower end of that range, so more closer to like 0.6, 0.5, maybe even like 0.4% of body weight per week. And you're going to, first of all, feel better. Like I said, more sustainable. You're going to preserve more muscle, and you're just going to feel better, most importantly. So that's the thing with crash dieting. Not only do you fuck yourself up physically, but emotionally as well, because let's face it, when you start dieting and going on really low calories, it definitely impacts you mentally and emotionally, and physically, obviously. So I'm going to close out this video, guys. I hope this helped somebody out. Don't forget, if you are looking for coaching, feel free to email me at JDayfitness@gmail.com or JD_LF08@hotmail.com. That's my personal email. I'll get that much faster, but I am always accepting emails. Be sure to like this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.